Hey folks, Mark, CEO and co-founder of Fabi here. In this short tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can take some product review data that has some unstructured data and do a sentiment analysis on it. And also as a bonus, we'll show you how to build a semantic search on that unstructured data. And we're going to be doing this with MotherDuck and Fabi.ai. So I'll cover real quickly what MotherDuck and Fabi.ai are, what we're going to build, and then we're going to talk about some of the really cool functionality that comes with MotherDuck, namely their prompt function. And then after that, we're going to show you how to leverage the data that we're pulling from MotherDuck to build an interactive report in Fabi.ai that you can share with your stakeholders. And then again, as a bonus, I'm going to show you how to build a semantic search using their proprietary vector embedding and cosine similarity function. So before we dive into what MotherDuck and Fabi.ai are, let's just take a quick look at what we're going to be building here. So this is the end result that we're going for. It's an interactive report. It's all powered by SQL and Python behind the scenes. It's fully shareable, so you can share it with anyone in your org. And the idea here is that we're pulling we've categorized some product review data here from a fake company called SuperDope as categorize these as negative, positive, or neutral. And then we've also teased out some keywords, and then we've just built some basic charting around this. And then we can, from here, sort of slice and dice the data by different categories. And we've, of course, have like the different charts down here and so on and so forth. So this is the end result that we're going for. It's going from this data that just has this review and to categorizing this and building a report. So quick detour on what MotherDuck and Fabi.ai are. MotherDuck is a highly performant, very affordable analytics database, and really highly recommend it, especially if you're dealing with smaller data sets. Even just in the gigabytes or tens of gigabytes, it performs incredibly well. Really highly recommend it, and it comes with some really cool functionality we're going to cover today that's completely unique to MotherDuck. And Fabi.ai is an analytics platform. It's all AI powered. You can build reports and dashboards or workflows using a mix of SQL, Python, no code, and AI. So typically, we boost productivity for teams like data scientists and data analyst teams at larger companies, or in smaller companies if you maybe just have one data person or maybe none. We empower folks who are semi-technical to build these kinds of reports and workflows. So let's dive into it here. I'm going to start off by showing you the data that we're working with. So here, I just log into MotherDuck, really simple, go to our website. I will say though that the functionality I'm going to be using today for MotherDuck does require I believe it's their base tier, $25 a month. So highly recommend it. Certainly kind of low stakes to start off and give it a try. So just log in, you can upload some data. I shared the data in the blog post so you can try it out yourself if you want to use the same synthetic data that I'm using. And then you just drop this in here into your database. Just run a simple query here. And this is the data that we're working with. Again, it's fully synthetic, so mostly makes sense, but you'll see here that we have product categories for SuperDope, so they sell jeans and hats and swimwear, for example. And we have this review data, so things like poor fit and uncomfortable to wear, or not bad, but could use some improvements and exceed my expectations in every way. And we have a rating here, so that's, rating from like 1 to 10. Now, again, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to figure out which reviews are generally positive, negative, or neutral. Of course, we have the rating, but it's good if we can kind of do that separately, independently from the rating. And to do that, we're going to use the prompt function. So I'm going to go back up here, and you'll see I have the exact same query. So I'm just pulling the product category to review the rating. But then I have this function here, this prompt function. And again, this is fully, it's proprietary to MotherDuck, and it's using what they call small language models. So very similar to the AI that you're probably using every single day, just packaged up for MotherDuck, and really nifty. So you can effectively just say prompt and then put your prompt in here. And then you say which field you want to run the prompt on, and then which field you want to return. So we're going to take in the review field. We're going to classify sentiment as positive, negative, or neutral, and then and then return it as the summary here. Now, I did show this example here where I actually removed part of my prompt to show you that like it may require a bit of tuning, because right now I just said classify sentiment as positive, negative, or neutral. And you will see the AI is doing kind of this funky thing where, oops, let me close that, where it is saying the sentiment is neutral. It's not terrible, but it's not great. That's not really what we want. So as a matter of fact, let me just go and look at what I asked for here. So I literally had to go and just say use those simple terms. So if you do that, this should work. Let's go ahead and just do that. Let's rerun this. Okay, and that worked. So now I have each review categorized as negative, positive, or neutral. So poor fit and uncomfortable to wear. It's obviously negative. Let's see if we have a neutral one. Okay, not bad, but could use some improvement. That's neutral, that's perfect. And then positive, exceeded my expectation in every way. Great, clearly positive. So now we're equipped with this data. We've gone and taken this like unstructured review data and built this categorization. So now we're ready to actually start building our report. For that, we're going to go to Fabi. So I literally just copy and pasted this query, and you can go to Fabi, just go to our website, app.fabi.ai, and create an account with Gmail. It'll take you exactly 15 seconds. You connect MotherDuck, really, really simple. We also have some documentation explaining how to do that. And then you can, and I'll show you here in this report, and I'll start from scratch. We're going to create a SQL cell to pull this data. So let's go here. This is a blank SmartBook, completely blank slate. I'm going to click on Query Your Data with SQL, and I'm going to, that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is copy and paste this. There we go. Actually, we have multiple databases here, so let me pick from MotherDuck and rerun that. Okay, there we go. Great, same results. That's just running the query against MotherDuck. But now we can start analyzing this data. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our AI and ask our AI to help us out here. So again, going back to a report here, I'm not going to rebuild everything from scratch in this tutorial, but I'll show you how to, I'll show you the gist of it, and that'll give you a sense of like how you can build it yourself. So let's say we want to build this distribution, this pie chart, for example, showing positive, negative, or neutral with a filter on the category. So actually the first thing I'm going to do, actually before I even go to the AI, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to requery this data from the DataFrame. So the data that's pulled into Fabi is actually stored as a Python data frame called DataFrame 1 here. And that's cached actually in DuckDB in our system. And I'm going to requery that from SQL here. So what I'm going to say is select star from DataFrame 1. And let's go ahead and pull that from here. Let's run that. Okay, so I have the exact same results. Obviously, I'm just doing a select star on DataFrame 1. But the reason I've done that is because I'm going to be able to, from here, build some dynamic filters on the data that's being retrieved. So let's say I want to create a drop-down where I can go and pick from the product categories, but I don't want to hard code the product categories. What I can do here is I can say where, and then I can say product, let's say product category equals, and then I'm going to say single quote category, curly bracket, and then I'm going to go in here and say insert a new cell, and I'm going to add a filter and input, and we're going to select pick list. So again, we want to create a drop down where I can automatically pick from the product category. So you select pick list, and then I forget what we called this. I think we called it category. We can always rename that if we want to. Product categories is what's going to be displayed in the UI. And then we want the dynamic option. So we want the drop-down options to be a list that's dynamically generated from the unique values in a field. And we're going to select a data frame that's above it, and we're going to pick the product category field. We do want multiple selections. As a matter of fact, I have to go and fix my query real quick. And default, I just want all products included. So I'm actually going to go ahead and change this because I created, let me show you real quick what I did here. In this Python cell, if I say print category, so it created a list here, you can see from like all the categories. And so I actually need this to be in, and then Let's do this here. Let's rerun that. Cool. Okay, so I have all my categories selected. Let me go and see if it's working. Just make sure I got this right. Let's say we just want to look at jeans. Cool. Okay, perfect. That works. So now I can quickly filter on jeans. And the reason we did this is because now if you schedule this to rerun and say you add a product category, this list will automatically just pick up on that new category. So that's why we did this little two-step process here. Great. So we have our data. Let me actually go and select off all categories. Great. So now we have our data. It's cached. We have a filter, but we want to go and plot it. I'm going to go and ask the AI to help me with that. And I'm actually going to nudge the AI. So here we have, this data is now stored as DataFrame 2. I'm simply going to say using @DataFrame 2. Please create a pie chart showing the summary for all records. Well, it's not very clear, but let's see if the AI figures it out. So our AI understands, it's an agentic AI system that will come up with a plan here. As you can see, it has its plan. It'll list it out for you. You don't have to specify DataFrame 2 or the DataFrame, or you can even tag cells. You don't have to if you don't want to. It does help it a little bit. And then you can see here, it wrote the Python code, it dry ran the code just to make sure it's running successfully. And then if it is, I can hit add to SmartBook, and there we go. We have our pie chart, perfect. And we can create all sorts of things from here. So say I'm gonna create that box and whisker plot. Please also create a box and whisker plot using @DataFrame 2, broken out by category, showing the rating. Let me make that a little bit more clear actually. Please also create a box and whisker plot showing the rating. I'll get there. All right, box and whisker plot showing the rating using, okay, there we go. I think I got it now. Okay, it's coming up with a plan, starting to code. Let's run this. There we go. That's it. So you can keep building from here. Really, really simple. You can rename these cells. If you're curious about Fabi, there's all sorts of online tutorials and videos that you can go and check out. But let's now go and turn this into a report. I can name this. I can say, I'm going to call this our MotherDuck and Fabi.ai demo. You can add text fields with a summary up here if you want. Just add text. You can add rich text and so on and so forth. And now you go up here to Report Builder, click on here, and you can pick and choose what you want to include in a report. So the order doesn't matter anymore. I can remove this table, for example. Perhaps I want the pie chart there. I just want it using half the width. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. We have our table, we have our filter, we have our pie chart, we have our box and whisker, and I can schedule this, of course, to run at whatever cadence I want. And then we publish it, and that's it. Now we have this live report that we can share with anyone, just share it with anyone in your org. They can come in, they can drop comments, and they can play around with the data themselves. And of course, this will stay up to date, and the summary field here will also kind of stay up to date as more reviews come in. Cool, so that's the part about the sentiment analysis, and I did promise a little bonus to show you how to build a semantic search, so we'll do that one fairly quickly here. And I'm going to go back to the report I've already built. I can't do this one from memory, so let's just take a quick look here at what we've done. MotherDuck also has a really cool embedding function and the array cosine similarity. So I wrote a SQL query here, which is also available in the blog. And effectively what we're doing is we're taking, so there's a CTE here that's going and creating a vector embedding for the review field, and which is effectively going to be a number. And then what we're doing is we're going to create an embedding as well for this dynamic search term. So say here, I created text input up here where I can input whatever I want. That's passed back down as a parameter here in this embedding. So we're creating two embeddings, one for the query and then one for the review. And then we're using array cosine similarity function down here to compare the review embedding to the query embedding as a similarity score. And that's what's returned here in this output. And it's ordered by similarity score. So now if I say, for example, comfy fit, this should find all reviews that are somehow related to comfy fit. It's not a fuzzy search. And you can see here, snug fit but not too tight, perfect, okay, great, poor fit, and uncomfortable to wear. Roomy toe, okay, here's a great example. Roomy toe box, which is a big plus for me, that there's no mention of comfy here or even fit, but that is very certain, definitely a review that talks about the fit. So this is really, really cool, in my opinion, to be able to search for reviews that are kind of like within the vicinity of what you're looking for. Now, you might look at this and say like, well, poor fit and comfortable to wear doesn't really go with comfy fit. Well, keep in mind it's vector similarity. So this kind of goes over my head a little bit, but the general idea is that we're looking for terms that sort of relate to each other. And there can also, that doesn't necessarily mean like positive correlation, right? So like this certainly, poor fit certainly does relate to comfy fit. So I would say that's actually a match. And so you can play around with this a little bit depending on exactly what you're trying to accomplish. But at the end of all of that, you can also add this into your report. So here, now I have this, size issue, for example, now I can add this to my report and someone can just input whatever they want and it will find me all the reviews where they kind of relate to size issue. So that wraps up our tutorial here. Hopefully this gives you a sense of how you can use, again, the prompt function using the MotherDuck small language model to do some sentiment analysis. I find that really, really powerful, something I certainly wish I had when I was a product manager running customer surveys. And then this little semantic search can also be a nifty little way to build a mini search function on some unstructured data. Definitely encourage you to try out MotherDuck and Fabi.ai. Super simple to get set up for both. Very affordable. Both have free options as well to get started. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out or drop them down below. Thanks for listening.